one final question from my side on those styles, because for me those are architecture or data architectural styles. Like we have also architectural styles in let's say normal software systems, like microservices, pipes and filter, stuff like that. So now those styles, if I have to make a decision what kind of style I want to choose, then obviously I need some requirements, and I have to based on my requirements, I have to decide, do I now want to go for microservices or monolith or whatever, right? How is that for data mesh and, for example, data lakehouse? If I'm an organization and I have to think about a data architecture, I have no idea. Yeah. So my personal feeling is everyone who uses microservices, they're like, oh yeah, we of course we use domain-driven design. We have bounded context, and per bounded context we have a service, and of course we use data mesh as our data architectural style. And I'm just wondering, is that always correct? What questions do I need to ask in order to make a decision? Is data mesh the right thing? Is data lakehouse the right thing? Is it even possible to have a mix of both?
Yeah, definitely. So in particular, data lakehouse and the data mesh, they are not exclusive, and the other. Data lakehouse is an technical architectural pattern, how you build your architecture. Data mesh is more an organizational pattern. And for example, you can build a data mesh with a lakehouse or with several lakehouses. And a lot of customers are doing this actually. The question, what is the right architecture for you? Of course, there is not just a simple answer to that. But one thing is very clear is nowadays, I would say you have to go to the cloud. That makes a lot of sense. You would not have the stuff on-prem. Maybe you are, I don't know, top secret or whatever, right? But usually you would go into the cloud. Then you can have a particular data warehouse in the cloud, something like Redshift, for example, BigQuery, Google. If you heavily use transactional data and analytics, classical analytics on SQL, Snowflake is another example. But the problem is, of course, if you go more and more in the AI, ML, Gen AI space, that doesn't work with this. So you would need a data lake for your data. And then you should consider really, and I think the whole development is going in this direction, is the lakehouse actually. And it's not only Databricks who is offering this, Microsoft, Fabric, and others. They all go in this direction of a lakehouse because it makes a lot of sense. It is a combination, as we said, of both. You have the data lake, you have the governance, and you have your warehouses performant in the cloud. So I would say from a technical architecture, the lakehouse is probably the way to go nowadays. Data mesh is then the next question from an organizational and data governance type. It's really a much longer way to go, as we said, regarding all the transformation of your organization, of your business. But if you want to go in this kind of microservice organization, the ownership and data products, then data mesh is I would say, the right way to do this. I would say, and it's a bit controversial, it makes sense for larger organizations. If you are kind of a mid-sized, small company, I don't know, 1,000-2,000 employees, you have a analytics department, and they're probably fine with the lakehouse and can build the reports and everything needed. But if you are a huge multi-international organization and you have to organize the data between different continents and different architectures, then probably a data mesh makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But of course, data mesh, you cannot just easily implement it. It's always also some custom build. You can, of course, use Snowflake, Databricks, or Microsoft Fabric, but you have to stitch a lot of things together, right? You have to build the data catalog, these interfaces, what we described. So there's still a lot of custom software development necessary.
And the I mean, when I decide to to go for data mesh, I probably can also introduce that incrementally over
Yes.
a few parts of the organization.
Of course, you
Okay, and
would
then
never do this as a big bang. That makes no
okay,
sense. It doesn't
okay,
work. You start with an MVP. So usually you start with one domain and you define a handful, maybe 1, 2, 3 products, and you define these products. You build this. You build the platform to run these products on that platform, and then you already can combine them, and you get the first results, and people see how this works, right? So, and I saw in customers at ThoughtWorks when we implemented data mesh, in the beginning, a lot of skepticism, a lot of theoretical discussion. But when you had the first products, people were coming and saying, oh, I also have a product and I also have a product. And can we also implement that product? Suddenly you have a huge demand in the organization and you have to
okay.
say, stop, stop, stop. We cannot build thousands of products here. So we have to organize this.
Yeah. So I mean, I wanted to to go through all the different styles. So I'm now happy